Good evening in Canada, good morning in Russia. This is Elena and my channel Enough. Welcome to my channel, and here I'm telling you the truth about politics, about war in Ukraine, Russia, USSR, and I will tell you in the future about a few other countries, but for now, in my opinion, there is nothing more important than war in Ukraine. Today we're going to talk about Ukrainian counteroffensive, about Ukrainian liberation of Kherson city, and about death of Kherson, head of Kherson, Stremousov, and about a few other things. I can tell you that I personally have some insight from Kherson. It was from about May of 2022, and we will find out what people in Kherson were thinking and how they felt under Russian occupation. And that's what we will be talking about today. We will listen a little bit to what Mr. Podolyak would say about that, and how Ukrainian people welcoming Ukrainian army liberating the settlements in Kherson area. First we will see look at the map. This is Ukraine, and this is Odessa, and this is Kherson. We will have a it's interactive map, and we will see what was happening since yesterday, since 9th of November, and that's how we're gonna see it. So Kherson is right here. It is. So this is what we have at this moment. The time was 3:34 p.m. That's the last update from the map. And let's talk a little bit about what Ukrainian army doing in here. I guess most of the stuff you already know. You know that Russians said that they're gonna withdraw the troops from the city itself and go on the other side of the river. But I wouldn't count too much on many things, because everybody knows that Putin lies, Shoigu lies all the time. So, but so far there are evidence that they actually leaving, and they thinking they're gonna fortify that other bank of the river, and they're gonna stand their ground there. Well, and according to the General Armageddon, they doing it to protect Russian soldiers. It would be funny if it would be so sad. I just in my previous video I talked about how just the whole battalion of people, 570 people, was murdered, basically killed, because they didn't have anything. First of all, they shouldn't, if somebody worry about Russian soldiers in Ukraine, they shouldn't have started the war and send their soldiers in the first place. That would be really worrying about soldiers. The battalion from Voronezh, the commanders ran away, and according to Mr. Agafonov, one of the survivors, only out of 570 people, only 29 was unharmed, 12 wounded, and the rest of them very much dead. They had 3 shovels to the whole battalion, and that was how Russian commanders dumped them, ran away, and many of them corrupted, include General Surovikin and himself. Just now I seen a new investigation from Navalny group, from channel Alexei Navalny, about his corruption and his outrageous stuff in Syria, which I will tell you about it in a little bit different video. So before Ukrainian troops started to clear up the area around Kherson, this is what was happening. And this is the letter. It was in Ukrainian. Some of my friends from Ukraine sent it to me, and I kind of translated it from with the help of Google because I don't know Ukrainian. I translated it into Russian and into English. So that's what the letter was saying. It called the occupation. I have never written about this, that person is saying. But I want to try to explain something to you. Try to feel and understand. This is 10% of what is happening here. Number one. What is no freedom? Excuse me. What is no freedom? It means, what does it like to be without freedom? This is because for this post, I may be taken tomorrow to the basement and never return to my family. This is the fact that I will be obligatory deleted today and even clean the history. So there is not even a hint that I dared to write something like this. And these are for sure reasons for imprisonment in Kherson. So just because person writing it, she could be imprisoned and tortured. Taken to the basement, it means that there are places in Russian occupied territories when they just kind of hold people captive, torture them, and so on. Second, some people say you are not getting bombed. Then I invite you to Kherson. It is quiet in here. I can count the days of silence in Kherson on the fingers of one hand. I am even startled by sound of the neighbors closing their door. But we are not getting bombed. Nobody knows how we are here. I also don't know what it is like in Mariupol, Bucha, because I wasn't there. Yes, I was with them with all my heart and soul. I passed their pain through myself, but I was not there. You are not in Kherson, you have no idea how it is here. Number 4. Are you really sure there is no second Bucha? And the lady was right, who is writing. Because there was second Bucha, and there was Izum, and there was many other places. At the time, she didn't know about it. Number 5. The list of people who are missing, taken away, tortured, raped is endless. Number 6. There is no person who can protect you. You are with Ukraine in your heart, and they are armed to the teeth at every step, and there is no exaggeration. This is no exaggeration. Number 7. You have no worries, you are where it is quiet. That's what some people says, she's quoting. Yes, but we have something else. When they go to the minibus, they approach you with the machine gun, recharge it, with some grenades, hang on their chest, they poke you with a gun. You get out, undress, this is the inspection. Or when you ride in a minibus and a man in his 50s falls on your feet, starts wheezing and dies. And you have no connection, no network, no internet, no telephone, no ambulance, nothing. There you are with a corpse and the other passengers. Number 8. Fuel problem, quays, cost. And we don't have such problems because our cars were taken away from us, stolen, or because we hid them, or because we don't have fuel at all. I don't even remember how much it cost. Everything related to Russian is for me don't exist. Number 9. The vegetables are expensive. We are looking for salt. That's what some people says. That's what her response is. Yes, our vegetables are very cheap, but that's basically all we eat for 3 months. Do you know what my child's dream? Eat Maria cookies. Which is, it's a slang. It's a cheap, very cheap cookies. It's not handmade, like homemade. It's the simplest biscuit cookie, which is not at all yummy and not a delicacy. And wanting it is about the same as wanting a cracker or a piece of bread. Number 10. The unemployment is rising. That's what some people says. And that's what she has to say. We have no work at all. Realize that only sellers of goods have work in Kherson. I am a specialist who had 1 day off, for which the people signed up for months in advance. Thank God if I have several clients a week. I am thankful for being able to buy those vegetables. I a little bit altered this paragraph because I didn't want to give a hint in what field that person is working. Hold on. Number 11. Kinda hold tight. Imagine that there is nothing to hold on to, because we can't defend Kherson. There are no weapons to free you. There are not that many of our troops. But we really don't whine. We really believe and wait. We really understand that now our guys are needed in the hottest spots because it is quiet in here. And there is the reality of those who stay there. This is our conscious choice. Number 12. You have winter, war, summer already, and we still have February 24th. Number 13. Life goes on. Yes, physically your body is functioning and meeting basic needs, and that is it. I will never be the same again. We will never be the same again. Psychologically we are not. Kherson lives only by faith and dreams. No reproach to anyone. Everyone has their own tragedy. Every city has its own tragedy. Each of us has its own measure of this tragedy. Each of us has its own limit. I can't do everything anymore. Unfortunately, I'm all finished. Don't compare cities with cities. Don't compare people to people. You have no idea how are the others. This was the statement from some unknown to me lady from Kherson, which my friends sent to me from Ukraine. And I can feel their pain, and I know how much they waited and wanted the Ukrainian army to come back, and what they had to be going through, because I had similar statements from other places as well. But even now, when Russia is kinda leaving, I really suspicious about that. I really not sure how Ukraine should, in my opinion, to approach that. I'll tell you a bit later. This is a Twitter truha. It's true Kherson. And this is a little bit how people meet in the Ukrainian army. They say they were praying every day for return of their army and so on. And this is a channel Popular Politics. It's a group of Navalny, and this Mr. is Mikhailo Podolyak. He's advisor to the president of Ukraine, and I wanted you to hear what he has to say a little bit. And this is Mr. Shepelin, the host, one of the two hosts of the channel, and on this video in particular. And what the basically conversation is going on, it's about Kherson, it's about what is happening actually, and Mr. Podolyak is saying that they have to create right away special administrations, like city mayors and stuff like that have to be ready to take over, because people were sitting for months without anything there, without basic needs. They were starving, they wasn't really provided with much of anything, include like basic needs, food, water and everything. And so it's a city is in terrible condition, and if they take it over, then they had to restore all of this right away. So this is the question.
Что бы вы посоветовали делать жителям Херсона, которые, возможно, дожидаются украинскую армию сейчас?
What would you advise to peaceful people in Kherson who is still there and who is waiting for Ukrainian army just now?
Мы с большим сожалением, конечно, все это воспринимаем. Вы понимаете, у нас не только, к сожалению, Херсон, у нас и Харьков, и Чернигов. Все подвергались достаточно, и сейчас подвергаются, и Николаев, достаточно жесткой обработке российской артиллерии.
He's saying, Mr. Podolyak saying that they really feel sorry not just for Kherson, but for Kharkov, for Chernigov, for Nikolaev, for many other places. Those cities, peaceful cities, were bombarded, heavily bombarded by Russian artillery.
То есть Россия же все равно, вы понимаете, когда вот эти были алармистские, вернее не алармистские, а такие ура-патриотические заходы, например, по линии Херсона дальше до Николаева шли, они ставили, например, грады 20-километровые.
he's saying that Russians have some hurrah patriots kind of screams about, yeah, we're gonna get Kherson, we're gonna get Nikolaev, and so on. So they just put grads along the line, and
дальность которых ставили прямо в предместье Николаева и просто в рамках такой программы по жилым кварталам обстреливали градами. Это Россия делает.
that Russia was putting grads and they shooting at Nikolaev. They put the grads on outskirts of Nikolaev city, for instance, and was just heavily shooting at the civilian territory with civilian like houses and everything. And it was done regularly on different cities, and I know that personally from Kharkiv, for instance. I have friends in Kharkiv and nearby. They get bombed like 230 days of the year or something like that. And those guys even from Russian territory get bombarded. But in this case, Russians just did lots of shelling of peaceful cities.
Она, конечно же, если даже уйдет на левый берег, она будет использовать ствольную артиллерию, которая будет находиться недалеко от Херсона, для того, чтобы бить прямой наводкой, бить по улицам города и так далее.
And even if Russians will go on the other side of the river, they will still use artillery to shell the city just directly at the city of Kherson.
Что я могу посоветовать гражданам? Только одно: искать места, эффективные укрытия, это бомбоубежища, это подвалы.
Only one thing I want to advise to people who still in Kherson: please look for the places to hide, like a bomb shelters or some basements.
Брать запасы еды, воды, все, что можно, для того, чтобы там какое-то время находиться.
Take with you as much food and water as you can, and whatever you need, for you can hide there for extensive periods of time.
По-другому никак не получится, к сожалению, мы уже давно.
Because you're gonna get shelled from Russian side. Unfortunately, it can't be otherwise. We can't do anything differently.
Давно не можем эвакуировать, к сожалению, еще раз
We can't evacuate you at this point in time.
подчеркиваю, с оккупированной территории. Россия не позволяла это делать, она, в принципе, убивала людей, которые хотели самостоятельно покинуть. Мы знаем очень много.
And we tried, but in people who tried, like they get killed by Russians. They did not allow people to leave, and that's what they do. So we couldn't evacuate you.
Десятки или даже сотни примеров, когда гражданское население пыталось на своих автомобилях или там автобусами.
I have dozens or even hundreds of examples when citizens, like peaceful people from the city, trying to escape by their own cars or buses.
Выезжать даже колонны собирались, и Россия расстреливала этих.
Sometimes there was a column of the vehicles, and Russia just shoot at them.
Колонны, соответственно, на блокпостах. Мы это все прекрасно понимаем, но, увы, к сожалению, к огромному сожалению, понимаете, это война, и другого решения, кроме как заходить в города и забирать их обратно, у нас не существует.
Unfortunately, we're fighting a war, and there is no other decision, like, instead of coming inside the city and take the city back. There is no other choice. Like, we can't take city back otherwise. We have to come in and take the city back.
Россия навеки будет вот это все, ну, для нас олицетворять именно вот это зверство, когда они зашли якобы освобождать и уничтожают просто города. Они их минируют.
And Russia forever gonna be for us that evil country who came pretending that they're gonna liberate somebody, and they just destroy peaceful cities, destroyed buildings.
Они будут подрывать.
And they're gonna put mines everywhere, like it was. And I can add to it that they were put mines in the children's playgrounds, in the other civilian places, in other cities like near Kiev, for instance. So Mr. Podolyak isn't inventing it; it's true.
Нужно понимать, что коммуникации, например, в Херсоне будут подорваны. Я имею в виду коммуникации жизнеобеспечения. Это, опять же, водоснабжение, канализация, это энергоснабжение, это.
And as you probably understand, that communications in Kherson, like electricity, sewage, water, Russians would just blow them up.
Трансформаторы, распределительные узлы, все это Россия будет подрывать.
It will be blown up and destroyed.
ей безразлично состояние людей, которые будут оставаться в Херсоне. Вы должны
And they don't care for the people who will be left in Kherson. And they absolutely don't care.
это понимать, и вы задаете абсолютно правильный вопрос с точки зрения, что людям будет очень и очень тяжело, к сожалению, в эти дни.
You asking very right question, because yes, people will suffer very much in these days. There is no any other choice, unfortunately, as he said. If Ukraine want to liberate them, they have to get in and do that. And there was interesting conversation, and if somebody know Russian, they could watch it on Popular Politics and stuff like that. As what I want to show you also, I want to talk to you a little bit about Mr. Stremousov. And that's the guy. He was the head of Kherson, Russian occupant. And actually the person, as far as I know, I don't know that much about him, but I know enough that he was, in my opinion, the one who truly believed in all that propaganda and that Novorossiya and stuff like that. He was a really individual who believed in all this garbage. And he suffered for it. Like, I got the information that he was killed in a car crash by, it sounded like there was a truck on the road and his driver trying to escape, but it didn't happen. So it was a big car crash and he's dead. Which is, there are some information that probably Russians wanted him dead, and I understand that, because that evil, immoral regime of Putin, it's standing on those dummies like Stremousov. It's standing on the people who doesn't, even worse than Stremousov. At least Stremousov had some sort of a belief. Many of them don't have any, except for the whatever is the theory is, whatever is the handbook just given to them from the government at this moment. Today is good to have Kherson, tomorrow it's not. It just recently Putin was saying, hurrah, we just annex those territories, and now they trying to tell Russians it's okay to give up Kherson. That is why many Russian propagandists are very angry about that, because they thought, and Russian people thought, that mobilization is a good thing, that it's gonna help something. How come it's gonna help? Send untrained, unarmed, not fed and not dressed troops to the front by bunches? It just make them dead. But Russians didn't know that. They believed that it maybe will have some sort of a sense, and it will bring some sort of a victory of some sort. And instead, Russia giving away the only regional capital, Kherson, they ever had, captured it, and now they're just leaving. So, and they don't need that useful tool like Stremousov, which they need before. On the contrary, he knew too much about all what was happening in there, and it was becoming inconvenient. Basically, like you throw out your old shoe. He was an old shoe, and he even get thrown out. It could be a coincidence, but I highly doubt that the same very day when Russian troops leaving Kherson, the chief of the city and person who was so big on propaganda and everything and saying Russia here forever, all of a sudden conveniently having an accident. But let's not get carried away with conspiracy theories. And this is what that man is.
Вижу горы и долины.
He wrote a poetry, or he reading a poetry, reciting a poetry, I'm not sure he wrote it himself. And he's basically saying that everywhere I look and everywhere I drive with my tank is Russia. And it's everywhere. It's Czech Republic, it's Poland, it's South America, it's Australia even. Yeah, he didn't forget about you, Australia, and especially United States. So everything's supposed to be Russia, and I feel there myself very comfortable. Like,
Это русская сторонка, это родина моя. Недалече пирамиды, Нил течет, богат водой. омывает русский берег. Русь моя, горжусь тобой. Вижу Вашингтон в долине, Даллас вижу и Техас. Как приятно здесь, в России, выпить вкусный русский квас.
Yeah, so prepare everybody. You're gonna be Russia. It sounds like believed in it. Twitter channel. From Twitter channel, we could see the information about what happened to Stremousov.
Он двигался по направлению из Херсона в сторону Мелитополя. И, как мы смогли узнать, большой груз, в общем, грузовой автомобиль как-то подрезал его или еще. Ну, в общем, сейчас будут разбираться, но...
The gentleman is saying that Stremousov was going from Kherson to Melitopol on his vehicle, and the big truck cut him off, and there was a car crash, and his armored vehicle was destroyed. Another man, this is a Russian propagandist from an NTV channel, and this is what happened in Russia. Basically, no matter what you say, you can be wrong. That's the whole point, that propagandists and people who loyal to regime, they have to change their shoes in the mid-air, basically, which was whatever was good to say today, tomorrow it's a crime and you're gonna go in jail for it.
Значит, если вы ждете, что я сейчас вам объясню свое отношение к этому, то я вам ничего не скажу. Но объясню почему. Если я поддерживаю это решение и говорю, что Министерство обороны поступает правильно, оставляя Херсон, то получается, что это публичные призывы к нарушению территориальной целостности Российской Федерации. В нашем Уголовном кодексе это статья 280, часть 1. Я специально сегодня утром проверял. Несколько лет лишения свободы. Если я не поддерживаю это решение, я считаю, что Министерство обороны поступило неправильно, оставляя Херсон. Это публичные действия, направленные на дискредитацию вооруженных сил. Та же самая 280 статья, только часть 3. Срок лишения свободы приблизительно такой же. Я в тюрьму не хочу. Поэтому сейчас мы посмотрим сюжет, а потом мы...
So he doesn't want to go to jail, so he can't say, is it a good thing that Russians live in Kherson, is it a bad thing? Because he doesn't, no matter what you say, you're going to jail for years and years. And it is true, whatever he's saying, it is really true. So anyways, and meanwhile, Ukrainians getting greetings from their people. So this is the end of the video, and that's what I wanted to show you, and I sure hope that Kherson will be liberated. I'm just not entirely sure that just now is it a good idea for Ukrainian army to go there right inside the city, because it's probably very much there are mines probably everywhere and so on. Maybe makes sense to just get the population out of there and leave it for a while until the war would be over or something, or a few months until they make sure Russians are far away, because they're gonna shell the city. There is no question about it. Every time Putin losing something, he started to shoot at civilians. He is shooting at Kiev. Last time he shot on a whole bunch of different cities all over Ukraine, and it wasn't happened long ago, so we all forget. We are remember. We remember that. And also, there is a big chance that because Russians put the mines on the dam in somewhere near Kakhovka, And they very much can probably flood the city. And that can happen too. Or they could use the nukes on them or something. It seemed like they planning something not good about it. I don't want to be conspiracy theory person, so I don't have proofs of any of this. It just the practice showing that every time Ukraine win, and this is a huge win for Ukraine. The loss of the only one regional center for Putin is a huge loss. It's not a question about it. So Putin gonna hurt civilians like he always do, and there is not even question about that. So I sure hope it wouldn't happen, but in my opinion, if they probably will just leave city alone and go around and do something else, or just go around the city, maybe if possible. I'm not sure it's possible because they need to get on the other side and they need to defend. Maybe it isn't possible, but it's not gonna be good. I'm afraid that I really feel sorry for Ukrainians. It seems like not a good situation. So anyways, I hope for the best no matter what, and thank you for watching, and have a great day or evening.